Hi, this is Dr. Courtney. Welcome to Finding the Forest, which is a series of interviews, research based videos, and lots of things for therapists, practitioners, HR, people who are helping people. We're going to be sharing a series of interviews, but with a breaking news from the Trump administration's executive order around doing more research on plant medicine, especially ibogaine, for treating PTSD, especially for veterans. I thought that I should make a series of videos that can help you all to understand better. I have carefully developed the material so that we get straight to the point and I don't miss anything. All right. So, there's a growing amount of attention right now around iboga, plant medicine, and its potential role. And with that attention, there's a growing level of curiosity. A lot of my colleagues are writing to me and calling me saying, people are asking me about plant medicine, and I don't know what to say. First, they're worried about licensure. They're worried about their reputation. They're worried about whether or not this is legal and whether or not it could affect them in a negative way. And I totally understand that. So I'm going to slow this down and add some context that I think is essential. Iboga, ayahuasca, they're not just a compound. For example, iboga comes from the root bark of Tabernathi iboga, a plant that's native to Central Africa. Its traditional use is most closely associated with the Bwiti spiritual tradition, practiced in regions like Gabon. In that context, iboga is not used casually. It is used with a lineage, a structured system that includes preparation, ceremonial guidance, which means there's a formula that's been passed down generationally through their spiritual guides and medicine people, and community and support for integration afterwards. So, this structure really matters, and it's probably part of the reason that the Religious Freedom and Restoration Act was very specific about this with plant medicine. It needs to come from a lineage. People need to be safe, and this needs to be done in a spiritual setting from a lineage in a safe space, right? The structure matters. Iboga isn't just psychologically powerful, it can also be physiologically intense. So, for this particular medicine, there are well documented concerns around cardiac stress, interactions with existing health conditions, and the need for careful screening and supervision. So, if your clients are asking you about that, here are a couple things you can say safely. Should I do iboga? That question is incomplete. The most useful question is under what conditions does this become more or less supportive for your client's goals or for your goals? Because the medicine itself is only one of the variables. The context matters, the preparation matters, the support matters. And the nervous system that's receiving the medicine and the experience matters. This is especially important for people dealing with PTSD, anxiety, or suicidal ideations because the priority is not just transformation, it's stability and, of course, safety. It's making sure that this person is realistically able to stay grounded enough to actually benefit from anything that happens because these medicines can be wildly unpredictable and dosage is a very delicate matter, all right? The traditional knowledge and modern research are beginning to overlap, but traditional systems like the Bwiti developed had structured ways of working with iboga over generations. The same can be said for ayahuasca, all right? It's not isolated experiences. They're processes that are repeatable and have a certain effect as observed by these spiritual traditions over time. So, modern research is beginning to explore ibogaine and other medicines in controlled settings. What's happening is they designated funding for looking at the potential role in PTSD, addiction, and neurological conditions. So, over 20 years of working in that environment with natives from all around the world and working with plant medicine, working with veterans, working with people with PTSD, people in recovery, um, there's been a consistent pattern. When people are properly prepared and their vehicle is able to sustain the ride or the journey or the trip, as we say, um, you get much better results, obviously. When you have the experience, and the experience is in the right setting, that matters, and the integration matters. But integration isn't necessarily what people think it is. Integration is what you take home with you in terms of what you do and are willing to do every day for your own good, that you maybe learned on the plant medicine journey, but you have to actually make rubber meet road on a daily. The real takeaway here is not should your client or you do it or not. It's are you willing to do the preparation and the also exploration to find the right environment. All right. Without structure, without context and support, even something meaningful can become destabilizing or just not last. As more research develops, we'll understand more about the potential and the risks. But even now, one thing is clear: these are not casual interventions, they are structured processes. So, if you're exploring this space or you're supporting someone who is exploring this space, the most useful place to start is not the substance, it's understanding the system. Your nervous system can be hacked, so to speak, and 40 years of research from HeartMath shows conclusively that doing breath work can actually change your brain waves and get you into a state of heart brain coherence, they call it, which allows your vehicle to plug into something wildly different than the usual. I say that it's as if you could open up a whole new panel in your car and suddenly you're able to take off and fly. You can get places faster, you can see things more clearly. There's less crap, less traffic, less, obstruction and stress. And that's what we call finding the force. Human beings are actually able to plug into something vastly more powerful than we have previously believed is true. But they're often blocked and they're missing the user's manual to open up that panel in the Magic Cadillac. So, if you want a grounded starting point for that, you're welcome to grab the Integration Reset Starter Kit. It's designed to help orient you to that breath work. And if you want help thinking through a specific situation, you can book a 25-minute diagnostic with me. All right. Both of those links are on my website, and I look forward to meeting you if that's going to be the case. And I look forward to hearing the experience you get from the toolkit. All right. Bye for now.